The second week of the Modern Warfare 2 beta is here, and with it comes Invasion. This is a massive mode with 20 players and 20 bots on each team, but the most interesting thing, I think to most people, is that it gives most of us our first look at the new Warzone 2 map, or at least small parts of it, and it gives us a chance to play with some of the vehicles, and that has been so much fun. In this video, I'm going to show you quite a lot of gameplay from Invasion and just talk about how it plays and how some of the features might cross over into Warzone 2. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. So first of all, and I want to get this out of the way before I talk about anything else to do with it, I don't think Invasion is the best mode ever. It's fine. I'm sure it will be something that I'll play if I'm just messing around, I'm wanting to try out a new weapon or something like that, but when the full game comes out, I can't see myself spending lots of time with it. And that's because there's a few fairly severe things wrong with it. The biggest one is just the bots, the AI. You've got 20 bot players on each team, and they are unbelievably dumb right now. A lot of the time you'll just find them standing behind you, not really doing anything. Sometimes they run into cover and then just stay there until someone shoots them. Sometimes they sort of teleport through walls, or they'll teleport through doors and through the top of ladders and stuff. It's really strange. Occasionally I've seen them behave in interesting ways, I was sniping one and they ran through a door and then upstairs into the house and then were shooting me from the window and kind of wiggling side to side to make it harder to snipe. But that seems to be the exception rather than the rule. Now I'm really hoping that Infinity Ward can fix this or tune them up a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they've maybe made them a little bit dumber. I kind of heard that was the rumour, that in the Warzone 2 gameplay at COD Next, all of the bots had been made super dumb because originally they were too strong and they were going to kill everybody, and I thought that would be rubbish for content creators to just get killed by bots. So instead they've tuned them down and they maybe went too far. I feel like maybe with this they don't want players to go in this and just start getting annihilated by bots, so they've made them super dumb. At least that's what I'm hoping, that they'll be able to tune them up a bit, they'll be able to adjust them, and they'll be a bit more interested in the final game. But the other big problem with Invasion is just that it's essentially team deathmatch. There's no objectives, there's not even different places to spawn really, everyone just spawns at the back and then rushes forwards and kind of meets in the middle and fights. It's all very, very mindless. It sort of embodies that thing that I think is quite archaic in Call of Duty now, of spawn, run forwards, get a couple of kills, die, spawn, run forwards, get a couple of kills, die, and you just do that over and over again, and that's a little bit tedious. The last thing that I think counts against it is that although this is on the Warzone 2 map, it's not really the most interesting part of the Warzone 2 map, at least from what we've seen in videos from COD Next. It doesn't seem that interesting at all. You've got one where there's quite a lot of coast, and swimming about is actually kind of fun and kind of interesting. But when you're going through the buildings, they're all just kind of blandish. They're not particularly interesting to look at. You don't have any really cool points of interest. It's there's a stadium next to one of them, but you can't go to the stadium. That's out of bounds. So it's a kind of a shame that we've got these maps for this mode. It'd be cooler if there was maybe one that had high-rise in the middle of it, or one that had terminal in the middle of it, or something like that. As it stands, the two ground war maps, or invasion maps I guess, just aren't that interesting to play in. But with all that negative stuff out of the way, let's talk about some of the stuff that is really fun in this. First of all, the map does give us a chance to see the Warzone 2 map. These are parts of the Warzone 2 map. You can at least see, if you go high up, you can see across the map and see some of the other locations, and it gives us an idea of the visual style of the whole thing. I still don't think the visual style of this map is that great. I was kind of hoping it would be a bit more colourful like the multiplayer maps are. When I saw it at COD Next, I was a bit disappointed. It all just looks so brown and sandy, except for the parts near the rivers. Hopefully that'll be a bit more interesting once we start getting to look around the points of interest, but at least it does give us some long distance engagements, and that means you can start using the sniper rifles, you can start messing around, see what the battle rifles do and the marksman rifles. These guns don't really shine in a 6v6 unless you're absolutely cracked and can use the sniper rifle in close quarters, but I'm not good enough to do that, so I'm really enjoying having a chance to play with sniper rifles. And I had some really fun games, just sort of sniping a couple of people, then moving around to a different position, maybe climbing up onto a rooftop, maybe climbing up onto some rocks, going up the water tower. I just had a lot of fun messing around with the sniper rifles, even if half the time I was fighting bots and only half the time I was managing to kill players. it was still interesting to see how they work. At the moment in the beta, there's only one, I think it's a marksman rifle, that you can actually put attachments on. The sniper rifle, you only have attachments if you use the default class, and the same for the Mark II. So that's a little bit of a shame. We don't really get to see, like, okay, what can you really make a sniper rifle do? Like, what kinds of crazy scopes are there or anything like that? But at least you get an idea of what the gameplay will be like. Now, the other really cool thing about this mode is that it has vehicles in it. Obviously, the 6v6 maps don't have vehicles in it, but on this, you get to use some of the armored truck type things, as well as the APCs. Now, I've been having a great time with these. They're still not perfect. Like, there's some things I was a bit disappointed with. Like, they talked a lot about the vehicle, like, modular damage, and they talked about getting your tires shot out and that affecting the handling. I haven't really noticed that. I spent a lot of time shooting at the tires of enemy vehicles and couldn't notice any sort of visual confirmation that I'd managed to damage them, which was kind of a shame. But you do see doors getting knocked off and stuff like that, and the vehicles just feel better to drive than they do in Warzone. Like, when they interact with bits of the terrain, they tend to react a little bit more realistically. Like, sometimes they're rolling over a bit more easily, sometimes they'll like ramp off things. They just have a better sense of weight to them. Still not perfect, but just miles ahead of what was in Warzone. The APC also seems quite fun. Like, it's super fast, the cannon is quite strong. I've been having a great time with it. The top gun is even quite strong, but you're really exposed, so it's easy to shoot people out. And they've done an amazing job of balancing these vehicles, because just like, you know, when I've been talking before about, okay, there might be campers, but you have tools to deal with them. In this, the vehicles can easily be taken down with tools. One drill charge will kill everyone, even if they're inside an APC. So if you can get up close to an APC and chuck a drill charge on the side, everyone inside is dead. I'm not sure how much warning they get, whether people have started picking up on the noise of them. I'm not really sure how people in the vehicles would manage to counter this, but it means that the vehicles, even though you can get lots of kills with them, they're very, very fragile at the moment. And I really like that. Like, I think it's a fun risk-reward thing, that if you want to be really careful with a vehicle, you can make it last for a while, but if you try to get too carried away, you're going to get taken down very quickly. The last thing I wanted to talk about this, and just sort of touch on it a little bit, is the swimming. Because in all of the 6v6 maps we've seen so far, there's been no water at all, which kind of surprised me. I expected the maps to be a bit like maybe the Black Ops 4 maps, where you had quite a lot of water in most of them. In the 6v6 maps in Modern Warfare 2 that we've seen so far, there's absolutely no water at all. But in one of the ground war maps, you can swim around in the coast a little bit. And the swimming's really, really fun. Like, there's actual waves on the surface. You can swim really, really far down, and you swim surprisingly quickly. Like, it feels really good, which is nice to see. I'm hoping they make a bit more of this. Like, I'm hoping this is something that comes into play a bit, maybe in the 6v6, but definitely in Warzone it will, I think. That you'll get people, you know, trying to escape by staying underwater for as long as they can. I wonder if there'll be, like, perks or items, like maybe Iron Lung or something, that will actually let you stay underwater for longer and like evade people. I think that would be pretty cool. But overall, I've been kind of impressed with what we've seen in Invasion. Again, I don't think the game mode is that good, but I think it gives us a really good sense of like how the vehicles are working in Modern Warfare 2, how the long range weapons are going to work in Warzone maybe, and it's given us a little look at the map, which is always super cool. Now, I'm going to be streaming loads of the beta across the weekend. Of course, there'll be loads more content on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.